What do Adidas, Nike and H&M have in common? They all believe that the metaverse will be the next big thing. Nike has bought a virtual sneaker company last December, Adidas already launched their first virtual collection, and H&M recently announced that they will open their first store in the metaverse. Customers will be able to walk around in the store, try out different unique outfits and then buy what they think looks best on their avatar. Now, with all those global brands making such heavy investments into the metaverse, you can't help but wonder, is this what the future is gonna look like? I think it is, but I think it's only the very beginning of a revolution that might completely change the way we work, the way we interact, and the way we live our lives. Furthermore, I believe that the metaverse might be a business opportunity bigger than anything we have ever seen before. Really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I believe it could easily generate more than $1 trillion in the next decade, and in this video, I'm gonna break down how. Okay, the first thing that you have to realize is that now we live at a time where there is a large enough customer base to make something like the metaverse work. Teenagers have been living in parallel worlds, not unlike the metaverse, for several years now. They often spend hours every day immersed into games like Minecraft, Fortnite or Roblox, and not only do they use those worlds to interact with their friends, but they also spend real money there to, for example, purchase different skins or different utensils. So a whole new generation is growing up with the idea that socializing online as well as spending serious money on digital goods is completely normal. But that alone wouldn't be enough yet to make the metaverse work, because you also need to reach the slightly older generation that already works, that already has a steady income, and that is willing to spend a lot more money than those teenagers could. And guess what? Those people also recently got exposed a lot more to interacting online on a regular basis thanks to COVID. So many people have started working from home, they spend hours upon hours every week in online meetings, and they figured out that it actually works quite well. So with those fundamental shifts happening in our society right now, big companies decided that now is the time to realize the metaverse. And of course, the first company to do so publicly was Facebook. They announced last year that they are in the midst of creating their own metaverse and even changed their company's name to Meta. Mark Zuckerberg actually announced that Meta will spend more than $10 billion on the development of their metaverse in 2021 alone. With such an incredible amount of money on the line, you better believe that Mark will do anything in his power to make the metaverse reality. And if such a big company is pumping that much money into this, there must be a huge opportunity here. Consider, for example, the hardware alone. If 10 years from now everything is happening in the metaverse and billions of people need to gain access to the metaverse, just think of how much money you can make by selling the device that gives you access to that metaverse. If we all need to buy VR goggles in the next couple of years and there are only a few companies that produce those VR goggles, I can guarantee you that those companies will be amongst the most valuable companies in the world a few years from now. It is probably comparable to the smartphone. Nowadays virtually every person in the world has one, but 15 years ago not a single person owned one. But then the few companies that did produce them, like most notably Apple, made a boatload of money. They actually made roughly $190 billion with iPhone sales alone only in 2021. So with that in mind, I believe it is more than understandable that companies like Facebook don't want to miss out on the hype around the metaverse and the opportunities that come with it. Of course though, hardware is only a small percentage of that. A lot of the money will also be generated in what I call e-commerce 3.0. So those are all the purchases that will happen in the metaverse where you buy digital goods with real money. Of course, all those goods will be unique because they will be NFTs or something similar, and all the money used in those transactions will probably be cryptocurrency, but that doesn't change the fact that a lot of money will change hands. And wherever money is changing hands, a lot of money can be made. In our current world of e-commerce, some of the most valuable companies out there are not selling anything. Instead, they're just facilitating the financial transactions. You got Stripe, you got PayPal, and of course all the credit card companies all of which benefit from us shopping online every single day. And now imagine how much money a payment provider could make if they basically power the entire economy of the metaverse. We're talking potentially billions of dollars worth of transactions every single day, and those payment providers taking a cut of each and one of those transactions. So I could imagine that building the metaverse is actually like building an entirely new economy from the ground up. There will be new global brands like Gucci and Prada, there will be new marketplaces like Amazon and eBay, and there will be new payment providers like Stripe and PayPal. Just take a second and imagine what kind of massive opportunity that would mean. It's a bit like you could go back in time into the early 2000s and invest into companies like Amazon, like PayPal, etc. And of course, all of those existing companies don't want to be left behind as the metaverse emerges, so they will be eager to invest huge amounts of money just to make sure that they're part of this new generation of internet. And in fact, the endless opportunities with the metaverse don't even end there, because I believe it is quite likely that we will also spend our work and social life in the metaverse. I think we could relatively soon be holding our work meetings no longer on Zoom, but instead in virtual reality. We could use it to collaborate, to pitch, to meet new clients, all without leaving the house. And during COVID, a lot of us have been doing that on a daily basis already, so the idea is not that far out there anymore, but I believe through the metaverse it could be a whole new experience. It could become a lot more immersive, maybe even more than real-life interaction. And once that is the case, people of course would also want to spend their free time in the metaverse, either going to the movies, seeing a concert, or going to sports events. All of which you would of course have to pay for, which then would fuel the metaverse economy even further. Once existing trillion-dollar industries like the movie industry, the music industry, or the sports industry were to move to the metaverse, clearly the metaverse would become a trillion-dollar industry of its own. Of course, this whole scenario is far from 100% guaranteed, but the way things are going, I believe it is quite likely that we're moving at least into this direction. How quickly all of this unfolds, however, does depend on a lot of different factors. It depends on a variety of fairly new technologies like blockchain, cryptocurrency, NFTs, and of course 5G. But even with all of those in place, we don't actually know which metaverse will be emerging as the metaverse. Will it be one with a purely commercial incentive like the one that Facebook is currently building, or might it be a decentralized one like Sandbox or Decentraland? There are also people believing that we might not be heading towards a virtual reality at all, but instead towards something like an augmented reality. And in fact, Apple is betting a lot of money on that course, currently developing augmented reality glasses and possibly releasing them already in 2022. So I don't know what's gonna happen, but for sure I know that the future is gonna be exciting and probably quite different from what we are currently used to. And if you want to get more videos about the metaverse and opportunities around it, I plan to make a whole series around this, so make sure to subscribe to my channel for future videos around this topic. For now, thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.